Right, so we've already lost about 23 minutes into the call. Sorry for being delayed. So let's quickly get started. Good evening, everyone. And this special call today is quickly to run you through with the ecosystem that we have set up for progressing with various things that we would want to do through this Toastmasters year. Like what we, those of you who have attended the district officers training program, we were talking about this in brief, and this we would want to have it as a focused call so that we answer all of the possible questions you have and also try and give you a little more better view of what we wanted to show you, which was not very feasible due to the time limitations earlier. Okay. So primarily, like what we said the other day as well, this is going to be a project management kind of a tool which will help us to track everything that we for the ease of use from the clubs as well as from the division director and area director's perspective. Primarily, this is something that's been identified to be used at the trio, but however, there is no point in the trio alone using something while the rest of the team is left behind. So the idea behind extending this to all of them is to try and see how we can make this more like an organization kind of a stuff and make sure that everyone gets onto it to make the best possible use of it and track things effectively in one stop shop, right? So as we see, there is this district 120 site that we have got, which is already hosted, and I'm not sure if it's been made live or not yet, but if you have to log into the ecosystem for you to manage things, you have to get into d120.org, like what we see here on the page. And once you're in this page, on the top right corner, you have something called logon. Just click on login. And once you click on login, is someone taking care of the waiting room? I could see a lot of pop-ups. Sure if you're...
It's being taken care of. Yeah.
Okay, right. So the moment I click on login, it takes us to the ecosystem that we are talking about, and it will prompt you for a username and password. So this is the landing or home page of District 120's ecosystem. And by default, you will have a home page which will give you an access to a host of couple of things that's there from the district perspective. These are yet to be fully populated. However, you will at least have a high level view of what we are talking through. And within projects, if you navigate on the top left corner,
Srinath, it takes some time for us to see what you're showing. Do you want me to run it
okay,
in my computer?
either way, some okay. Just that,
Okay,
okay, let me try.
we'll
I'll give it
continue
a
with
couple of
this. Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
I'll give it
Okay.
a couple of seconds for people to understand what we are talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm not logged in right now, but it is just the home page. And within District 120 as the master project that we've got here, you would have some basic shared resources that you all can access, which is yet to be populated again. So for now, this is only an open page, which will have more content as we refine it forward further. Okay. So let me log in with it. So since the crowd is more about the division directors and area directors perspective, I will take the same login which was there set up last time for you to show what this is expected to be. I'll first log in at the club level and show you what the club can do here, and then we will get on with it. So I'm logging in with a club's ID that has been set up as a demonstration one. Okay, now this is logged in with a club's ID. Okay. Now within the club's ID, you see only access to the respective club. So let's assume from an access perspective, this is going to be given to the access for the complete District 120 from the trios perspective and the extended team to the area directors and division directors. And one club will have one ID. So we are looking at one of those club IDs for through which the club can log in. Within District 120, they have an access only to their specific sub project. Let's say in this case, this is SCB Hados. Okay. Once I log into it, I have a host of things that I can look at here. The top left corner of the menu is going to remain the same, which will help us to navigate between pages. And on the right hand side, you have my account, sign out, and who is that you have logged in as. If the club wants to update their account information, they can go into my account and they can refer to what's given here. If they would want to change any preferences, their mail address, or they update their mobile number or whatever it is that they would want to, they can update all of this into their profile and then save it. This option is going to be available to everyone who has got an access. If any of you as division director or area director want to update your profile, change the mail address, update your mobile number, do whatever it takes to get it done, you can all do it yourself over here. And you can also change your password by clicking on the link here. So this is the first option that we have in my account. There is no specific privileges for this option here. And most of the work that you would do will be primarily between these two pages, my page and projects. So when I go to my page, this primarily lands you onto a page where this will show you all the actions that somebody else has assigned to you, or the actions that you have assigned to somebody else within your own remit. Okay. Since this is more a president's ID or a club's ID, you would see only those ones still loading, which you have created and someone else has created for you. So in this case, there are two things. On the my page, if you're able to see there, one says issues assigned to me. This means either an area director or a division director or somebody from the district could have assigned a task to this club. And in this particular case, there is an example of the sub project is SCB Hados, and the tracker or the area to which the question is falling into is training and development. And what is the issue that they've logged in that has been assigned is what all the club officers trained in SCB Hados. Let's say if we click on this, it takes a little bit of time.
Do you want me to log in?
Oh, I'm fine, Praveen. Just that I'm not sure if it is about the internet connection or this one. I'm able to work everything else fine. I've been
Check in
online for
mine.
quite some time. So if you watch this, this is a straightforward action that's been given to the club to want all of the district officers to be trained for SCB Hados. And this was added by, say, the area director, Srivatsan, in this particular case of an example. And this was logged on 21st of June, and they wanted this to be completed by 30th of June. And the assigned action is going to the respective user who's nothing but the president. So if you would like to edit this and update what's happening with it as a president of the club or as an excom member of the club, you go into the edit mode option here and update what's the current status, whether it is in progress, or if you have completed all of that, you can mark it as resolved or closed. Or if you feel there is a discrepancy and this is not something that's relevant, you might even look at rejecting it with the appropriate comments on it. So let's say in this case, this is in progress. Here, if you see, it also has other options like your priority level, the parent task to it. These two options will get removed. Estimated hours and percentage done is something that will get removed if it is not relevant. So if you have any specific notes that you would want to record here, so let's say if this is the update that you want to provide, say along with the date or something, if you want to add, you can add all of that and then just say submit. And this update will be triggered back to Srivatsan, who is the area director, and he will get an update on this. If he prefers over an email, or if he wants to come to the ecosystem and see what's happening with it, that will also be reflected there. So his update is done. So once after his action is complete, if he wants to further update this and close it, he just has to go to the edit mode and give what is the final action that's been taken and what's the outcome, and then close it directly or resolve it as well. Okay. So that's with respect to an action which he has got. Again, going back to my page, if he wants to refer to the actions which he is assigned to somebody else, let's say, for example, if the club is looking for some support from the area director or division director, the club can raise a request and assign it to the area director or the division director for things to progress. Now, how can they do it? In this particular option, they have an option called new task. When I click on new task, there are various categories in which you can raise your tickets or requests. So the broader areas that we have defined here is these. It could be a question that's relevant to membership or education or administration, training and development, anything related to TLI, bylaws and rules, anything that you would want to clarify with the district, contest management, election, anything to do with recognition, and anything to do with PR as well. For any of these areas that you need, you can always request for support. Let's say in this case, I would like to have support for contest management. As a president, I would like to raise a request for my area director, say requesting for a CJ from my area from a club contest. Say August 2020. So if it is self-sufficient, you can elaborate this here. If you want to add more information, you can please do that. So let's say this is new. I don't have any option. The priority at this time, okay, this is something that's slightly tricky. If the action that you're awaiting the area director to perform is slightly at a closer time, let's say if it is 2 days later that you want this to be done, you might mark it as medium or high, and then the area director can look at it. The since this request is for a 20th of August, at this time it's not very urgent, so you can even mark it as low and assign this to the area director here, which is Srivatsan, or which is Vaikund, the division director. So let's say in this case, I want to go through the area director. So I'm assigning the support request for area director, and I want this to be action latest by, since the task is in August 20th, I would want someone to be identified latest by say the 1st of August, and the due date is by 20th of August. So these are options that I have got, which I've filled up. And if you've got anything to attach, you can also attach those documents here. And if I want to add tag people who wants to get more updates on this. So let's say I want Vaikund to watch this, and I also want few other members of my own area to watch this, and I can just check those boxes and say create. Now, once I click on create, this automatically will trigger a request from the president's platform to the area director and to the division director for them to track it. Okay. Now this has got created. This is the task number 8, and this has been assigned to Srivatsan Nadatur. Now there ends the request that he has to raise. It hardly takes about 2 to 3 minutes maximum for a request like this to be raised. Now once this is raised, this would have triggered an email in all practical reasons to Srivatsan once his mail is configured for it. By now I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting an email already for this. Okay. Now his task is done in terms of creation. Now, if he wants to raise a new task, he can go to the new task, or if he wants to track on what's happening with this task that he has raised, he can go to my page. And he can look at here reported issues, where all of these aspects of what he has raised will all be visible here. If he wants to see what's happened with this request that he has raised, which is item number 8, can just click on this and see what's the status of that. There is no update as of now. So if he wants to add on any more information, he can go to edit and add more information. Otherwise, he can just leave it for Srivatsan to action it. So that's broadly the action that the club will perform in terms of checking what somebody is assigned to them, and also creating new tasks to the area director or the division director. I'll take a moment here, pause to check if you've got any questions before I move on to the other options that we've got here. Any questions that we have at this time?
Unable to unmute. Why is that? Okay, one second. Participant. Allow participant. Okay, I'm sorry. Mohan, try unmuting yourself now.
Yeah, working now, Praveen. Srinath, no questions as of now. We'll probably save it for lab. But one thing here is, I think we can, the terminologies like issues and stuff like that, probably something like task, would be better. So we don't want it to be like issues or anything.
This is the task here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Any
there,
specific field?
It's
previously,
referring to the URL on the top. Okay, we'll try that.
yeah,
Okay.
not just the URL. I think even previously when, the previous, yeah, it said no issue when before opening the first, thing.
No, see what? Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm able to
yes.
hear you. Go on.
The terminology is more techie point of view. If we have an option to rename something like that, then we can decide. We can think
You're
about.
talking about these ones here, issued,
Exactly.
assigned here, or reported issues,
Exactly.
something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can probably be, the terminology can be simple as task or, assignment or, I mean, it says
Well,
assigned.
let's explore it. Uh, Praveen, can you have somebody just make note of this?
Do you have your team member Arun Kumar, right? Is he there in the call?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
Arun,
Arun, just
thank you,
make
Arun.
note of
Thank
it,
you.
Arun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Thank you.
Any other observations? Any other questions
Srinath, I
before
have
we
a
get
Um,
moving?
question. So,
Please.
let's say I request for a file from my club and they attach the file with the ticket.
Mhm.
Then, when the notification gets sent to me, will the attachment also be sent, or do I have to log in into the tool and then see the attachment?
And notification will only notify you. I don't think it will carry the attachment as well.
Okay, okay, thanks. So, would it be
um,
possible because sometimes otherwise, you'll have to again log into the tool and then look at the attachment. If
See,
would that be a possibility?
I think Devadatta, then the whole purpose of the tool is defeated, right? Basically, you will not log in into it.
So we want you to come and see what's happening from within the tool and use this more often. And the notification is only a mechanism to trigger you to come to the tool and say you have got an update on this. Why don't you come and have a look at it?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Hello, Srinath.
Yes, Vignesh.
Srinath, you have said when we're creating a task, we can add the watchers, right?
Yep.
So can you show us how to add the watchers?
You just have those options at the bottom with the check boxes that you. Let me see if I'm able to go back to it.
Why I'm asking is we are going to search the name or we are going to submit their
You
mail
will
ID
have
and
only
their
limited
names.
options. No, you will have only limited options of those people who are available in the system. For a club, they will have limited people, either the division director or area director or a member of the club. Most
Probably
probably,
it's
there is
that
only one
close
ID
group.
that we are giving. See, what happens here is we are only giving one ID to one club. Otherwise, it will
Okay.
become a very huge exercise for us to manage each of those users. And we want everyone to come through that channel of the president to come and represent it here in the tool. So he will have only 3 or 4 people at any given point in time to choose as watchers,
Okay.
unless somebody from the district would
Srinath,
want to
is there any
specifically
checklist?
watch.
Is there any checklist what the club is going to do exactly, and what the area directors are going to? So, see, I understand how the ticket is. I mean, how to update the tickets and other stuff. Okay, so if you have the checklist, what exactly the club is going to do, what the area directors is going to do. Okay, so that would be good for everyone.
Okay, so I'll answer that question slightly different.
Mhm.
Unless there is a need for a club which they would want to reach out to the area director or the division director, they are not going to come in here. Or if the area director or division director has got a task that they would want the club to do through this platform, they're not going to come here. Okay, when I look at it from the club perspective, they could have questions in any of these areas. Let's say I've got a question or a challenge in membership. I would want somebody to come and tell me how to have a membership campaign or a PR campaign, or I've got some questions on administration, or I've got a question on education or whatever it is. It could be anything. So whenever I've got any questions on any of these areas that we have got, if you see this bucket here, then I could reach out to the area director through this mode. Okay. So that's what we are going to use from the club's perspective. Whereas from an area director's perspective, if you want the club to act on specific actions, let's say, for example, you want some of your clubs to submit their club officers list rather than following up through the phones or email separately. We would want you to track those requests over here. And let's say you want people to enroll into this particular club or this particular relay training that's coming up and you want to send them a notification. Why not you nominate 3 people from your club to go into this TLA training who would be beneficial for it? It could be any of those reasons on the same lines where you want the club to act on it. It could also be related to golden gavel, related point submission, or it could be anything to do with DCP. Anything under the sky that we have got here on these areas, we could look at using this tool for assigning the task to the respective clubs. That's where you would come and use this for, and similar way the division director as well will use it.
Do you mean, I mean, the golden gavel tracker, like how we are getting the monthly update? I mean, monthly the tracker sheet we are getting from the DCP chair, and so we are not going to get it, and we need to look those kind of tracker only on this website.
No, we are not putting a tracker on this website, at
No.
least for now. If there are
Okay,
any
okay.
specific actions
Srinath,
relevant to the Golden Gavel tracker, you can go on for it. Sorry. Is it
Srinath, if I
Praveen?
can, yeah, if I can answer
Yeah.
in another way. See, Prakash, like I had a problem when I was VP Education, so I did not know whether my points got added into a DCP points or not. So I added a theme meeting in. I sent a theme meeting mail, but I did not see that getting reflected. So in that case, I can send a mail to DCP chair, or I can log a issue with DCP chair, and they can review it, and then like they can close down the ticket. So I don't really have to call somebody, message somebody, and then ask it.
Hi, Srinath and Arun. Nelson here.
I know.
So, apart from having these tasks and all those things, will there be any option for us to look at the FAQs or some other best practices here, or everything has to be task driven?
Okay, I'll put it slightly different. To start with, we are looking at having the tasks getting recorded here and managed from here as a central activity tracker kind of a stuff where we will exchange information as well through this platform. I made to review some of those options that I've got here, which we will go through. But for now, of what I've shown as a workflow, where the clubs will be using this, do we have any questions is what I would want to cover. I'm had to cover some of the other options that we will use.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
Nelson, answering to your question, there are options for us to have our own wiki page where we can mention all the documents also we can be listed here. So you can even see documents, files, tabs here on the screen. So those are the places where we can make use of to display all the award document and the other documents can be displayed. Yeah, we can do that.
Got it. That answers my question. Thank you.
Srinath, Alex here.
Yes, Alex, yeah.
Right. So one quick clarification. So once the ticket is raised, it will go to that respective person's email ID, right?
Correct. It'll trigger
Right.
a
So
notification, yes.
yeah. So is just a suggestion. Like we have all this WhatsApp sharing and all is there, right? Once the email is sent, can that link at least been shared so that we don't know how often people check the email and all, at least a sharing option, if possible, that would be good. So that I send an email, so I raise a ticket and immediately I share it through WhatsApp, probably a good mechanism.
Share it through WhatsApp, you mean the ticket number?
So that at least I can inform that person, right? For example, I know ADs, they'll check mail or not, but I raise the ticket, I just share it instantly.
Srinath, yeah, just to answer Alex's question here, every task or ticket that you raise will have a unique number. So Srinath, you can probably click on even the closed task or any task. So it will have a unique number. The projects will be private, which means just because you share the link to a fellow member, he cannot open it unless he has the access to see the task. He cannot. So you can open any task, Srinath. Every task will be numbered.
So this is the
So all
number
that you
you're
have to
referring
do,
to, right?
yeah, number.
I
For
mean, this is
example,
the number
8.
you're referring to, the
Yes,
865
8.
whatever, yeah.
Right. You click on education, the first one. You click on the first task. Now in the URL, you can see Alex. It will get changed. That is the way that you can reach the task. You can share this in WhatsApp or anywhere. This is also mobile friendly platform. So the concerned person can open this and see what is happening.
Okay, so you need to go inside that and share it. That's what you're saying.
Right. I mean, you share the number. Remember the number and tell the other person the number, so they can simply add it in the URL and just open it.
There are two ways you can access it, Alex. Once you come into the platform, like what I said from the my page, you can go and see what's the actions that each of them have got. Or like what you see in the URL here, it is ending with the number 8. That just points you to the access or task number 8. However, I believe once you point this URL to somebody and they click on it, it will prompt them for a username and password to log in. Because this is not an open platform, anybody can come and see. The respective user has to log in to see what is the relevant task that's been given to them. If you do not have a permission to view a particular
no. Okay, sorry. Just a clarification. It's not that anybody can access is what my concern was. It was more of a suggestion saying some of us, some people may not check in mails immediately. So when I raise it, I get a link also, and I can immediately share it in the WhatsApp.
Yes.
It's a suggestion. That's all.
That
Otherwise,
you can, Alex. You can.
That's all. Otherwise, from a control point of view, I understand that it should be secured and somebody has to log in and do it.
Yeah, at this time, the trigger or notification is coming only to your email. As a person raising the ticket, if you would want to just give the ticket number or this URL that you see on the browser, that URL can be sent to people on WhatsApp, and that will still allow you to
Yes,
view the
that's all I meant. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, in the interest of time, I'll quickly move on to some of the other options. I've shown you what a club can do in terms of working on a task that's been assigned to them, or what they can create a task for and assign it to you or the area director as well. Apart from that option of creating a new task, you have these options here, which is also something that you can look at. The overview is going to give you an overall picture of what all things are there, how many tickets have been raised, open, closed, anything of that sort. It's just loading. Give me a minute. So this is going to give you a one picture view of how many tasks have been created, how many are closed, and how many in total have been there. By the end of this one term, when you manage everything through this platform, you will know how much of an average time that you've spent in terms of managing the requests from the clubs, or the clubs have managed from the division and the area. Right? And if you want to just go to each of the club tasks that have been created, you can just click on view all tasks and it will come through there. In terms of the activity, this will take you to a landing page where it will show all the activities that have been described here in a little bit of a 2 or 3 line view to understand what tasks have been created by date. Okay. Similarly, if you want to have a task based view, this is going to give you a task based view for bulk management of things. If you would want to apply, let's say you want to have all of these ones checked and you perform another action to save the record or clear or do any additional filtration of records from here, and say I would want to see only the priority ones. I want to see only the high priority ones or medium priority ones for me to start with. I can just click on those ones and see what are all the high priority ones that I've got. Now I've got only one high priority here. These filters will help you to nail down on those tasks if you have got multiple number of them coming in here. Okay. So this task view will help you to filter out those ones and take it forward. And if you would want to export these tasks, you can use a CSV option here, or you can export it as a PDF, and then you can share it with anyone if you would want to have them look at it. While you're having your monthly reviews with your area directors as a division director, or if your division director is having your reviews with the trio, then this could also come in handy for you to pull this up and share what all the questions that have come in and how you have managed it effectively or whatever. That could help you to have more candid conversations with them. When you have your area council or your division council, these questions could also be exported for them to discuss on what's expected and how this can be dealt with as well. New task as an option, we have already seen it. And Gantt chart as an option is going to show you how the tasks have been managed in a calendar kind of a project management view, where we will know whether a particular task has been completed. It shows that this particular task is open, in progress, and 0% complete. So if it is 100% complete, it will be showing you accordingly, saying this task is open from this date to this date, which is 20th of August, and this task is as of now zero progress, and you've got so much of time from the red line to the blue line to complete this. Likewise, for each of the tasks, it will show you a timeline view of how much time do you have to complete it for you to prioritize it accordingly. Next is a calendar view, where the calendar view will also give you a set of tasks that have been created and when these are due, and the respective dates will be blocked accordingly for you to get a monthly view of all the tasks that you've got in your list. So this is the task that somebody else has created for SCB Hadows. Likewise, if you want to see for August, you will be able to see this task that we have created as a sample. It was not showing because we had filtered on only the high priority ones. So I'm just filtering on the low ones as well here. So now you see there is this contest management related bit, that was the one that we have created. Likewise, you can get a calendar view of all the tasks that you've got in your list which you need to action on. Over this particular place, you can also look at recording your club level contest information, or if you are doing this at your area directors level, you can record your area directors punt test related details, or any timelines that you've got where you've got some events planned, milestones planned, anything that you would want to have, or your area contest or your area council meetings, all of these information you can record it here to the respective clubs for them to block their time accordingly. News is something, if you would want to share any news as such, or if you would want to cascade any of this to your members for them to look at it from an area perspective or division perspective, you can use the news option. Similarly, documents is a section that's going to be used for document sharing. Any documents that you would like to share of your club, in this case the club login, you can upload these ones here and that can be recorded as well. So as of now, it is only read only option that we have given, but we can give them additional level of information if they would want to. But we would want to limit this permission of documents to be made available for any upload from only the division director's perspective and area director's perspective, but not to the club. We didn't want too many documents to be loaded into the server and things like that, but we would want them to see what documents are being uploaded to them, if at all there is anything to be shared by the area director or division director. Okay. Similarly, files and settings. Not much of a difference between the files and documents. This is going to be like giving you a file view of all the documents that have been uploaded so far and the size of the document, when was it uploaded, things like that. If you want to sort by the fields here, you can just click on these fields and it will help you to sort by that. So this is going to give you a view of all those documents that you've uploaded. So from a settings perspective, these are all the modules that you have an access to, and who are all the members of your, who has an access to yours is what is being displayed here from a settings perspective. Those are the features that we have with respect to a club. If you would have any questions, I can take any questions at this time. Otherwise, I'll move on to the area director quickly and show you a difference between what this will have and what that will have. Any questions at this point?
Srinath, I have a question.
Please.
So, while creating task, we can have one more assignee. So, as series perspective, if I want to create a same task to all the clubs under my area, um, so if we can assign one more assignees, it will create a separate tasks, or I have to create manually the separate tasks.
Let's explore it. Maybe I've not explored it much, but I can show you how it will work like in an area director's mode. This is only for the club, so it is showing only the options of assigning it to the area director or to the division director.
Srinath, answering to question, from the collaboration tool perspective, there will always be only one assignee in general. There can be multiple watchers, but assignee will be only one any given point in time. That's the standard of collaboration tool, be it Jira or any other tool. Yeah, with my.
So to answer your question,
Thank you,
Vignesh,
Prakash.
if that's the
Thank you,
case,
thank you.
then you will have to create each one separately. If
Because
you want
generally,
to
when
be
you assign one task to two different people, the point of assigning becomes diluted. You will never know who is going to act on the task. There will be too many people. So any given day, it's said that you should assign a task to one person. There can be follow up or can be watchers, but it should always be with one person. The task.
right, and one more option that we would want to understand here is, since this is going to be visible, for example, if you're a club creating this task and you didn't want any of the rest of the members to know what this task is, and you can just check this box which says private and it will not be visible to the other members. Okay, so that's another option. I'll quickly sign out and we'll log in with the area director's login. Give me a second. One second, just hold on. So logging in with the area director's account. Give me a second. So the options are going to be the same of what you see on the top three places here. Just a quick option that you might want to also understand. In my account, like what I've said, you will have an option to update your mobile numbers. And similarly, what kind of notification you would want to receive is also something that you can customize. By default, we are setting the option to show only for things that I watch or I'm involved in. Okay. So you can have multiple options of what you want to be notified via email, and you can choose to pick whatever you feel is more preferable for you and save that record and update your mobile number as well here. Okay. So in the area directors view, the same level of view we get, issues assigned to me, whatever the clubs have assigned to area director is being displayed here. You can click on it and see what actions are there and take it forward. Reported issues is nothing but what he has raised and what is the status of that. The same way you can click on it and you can go forward. Like what Praveen coined, the numbers that you see here or any at any given point in time are unique. It'll keep expanding and it will not come back to have the same number at any given point in time across the district. It is going to be a unique number at any time. Okay. So if you're able to give that number as well, then that should also be possible for you. And if you're able to search through from here, I think that should also allow you to do that.
And even if you delete a particular task, if in case you're created a wrong one and you want to delete it, that deleted task will disappear, but it will not reduce the count of the other task. So the moment you create a task and a number is being assigned, that number will always be with that task.
Right. I've just put in the number 7 here in the search bar and just clicked on it, and it by default opened up the SCB headers because this task is belonging to SCB headers, and it's opened up the record for us. Okay. So likewise, you can see what has happened with it. And if you know what's the progress, you can go to the edit option and update it and take it forward and close the record as well as appropriate if you feel this is completed. Okay. And that will trigger a mail to the respective user who has raised this for them to have a look at it and confirm back.
Srinath, can you try to change the status to complete? Completed. Is it, can you check?
Now I can mark it as resolved,
Right.
or I can mark it as closed as well. So let's say in this case, I'm marking it as resolved. Now this also will trigger an email to the respective club member who has raised this particular one. Okay. So that's all, and the request is resolved now. These options are almost the similar ones, just that from an area director's perspective. Let me just go back to area B1. Give me a minute. From here, I can raise a new task. And here again, I have options to assign it to all those people who are there in this particular area. Okay. So if I have to go raise a task to the respective club, then I need to go to the home page, navigate to the respective club, and then go create a new task from there. Now, as an area director, this is the key difference that you will see. As an area director for B1, he or she will have access to the respective clubs that are there in his area. Now, if he wants to raise a ticket or a request to Kaliga Inavaram, he can just click on this and get a view of all the tickets that this particular club has got. In that case, raise a ticket and proceed to raise the request and assign it to the respective club member. Since the club is not yet configured, you don't see a name here, but if it is configured, you should be able to see the name of a person to whom this ticket can be assigned to for this particular club. The same way, we can check for those people whom we want this to be watchers if required. and then we can create it and it'll get created. That's the fundamental difference between what access you would have as an area director or a division director and what the club will have an access to as well. Any questions at this point?
Srinath, you there were two options. One is resolved and closed. Will there? So is there any specific place when we have to mark it resolved and?
If you're completing the request and everything is sorted, basis the request that I've given. For example, if I'm saying I'm raising a request for an educational speaker to be done for the topic evaluation. Let's say you identify a contact and you have given the contact to him. You can share the number as well onto the request here and say the request is closed now and the number is provided or the person has been arranged for this particular date and time. You can update that here and then you can close it or you can resolve it as well. The only difference here is when you mark it as resolved, you have an
Srinath, I'm
option
just
to
adding a couple more points to it. All right, okay. What we can do, Srinath, you can create a workflow and share it with all the area directors and division directors. For example, a person who created a task and assigned to you, probably he should be the one who should finally close the task saying, okay, my point has been addressed. So as a area director, let's say we get a request from the club, we can resolve and assign it back to the club member. The club member can actually put it saying it's closed. Or if in case the club member assign a, okay, you assign a task to a club and the club finishes the task, they can say resolve and they send it back to you and you say it is closed. So the person who initiates a request or task should be the person who should actually checks and close to the same. So probably a small presentation or a small wiki page where we can mention what is the workflow, then it becomes easier for all of us to track.
Okay, just an addition to that one here is either through the workflow it can be restricted to close, or what happens here is if it is resolved, you have an option to reopen it as well. If it is closed, you might have to refer to it and create a new request and say this is not being sorted, something like that.
Right. For time being, let us have only 3 or 4 at the maximum: open, in progress, closed, and resolved. So that becomes easier for people to just
That's right. We just have one more, which is for feedback. If
right.
at all we want to request for a feedback from people as to how this has been taken up, then that could also be one of the options. Or if we don't need that one, we can remove that. That should not be an issue. Right. Any questions at this point?
Hey, Ashwin here. So,
Yes, Ashwin.
tell me if this is possible, or I think this should be possible. As a club president or as an area director, I would want the district to publish all the Golden Gavel criteria and all the district events, everything in the calendar. And the division can add its own events into the calendar, and the area can add its own events. So, as a club president or as an area or a division director at various levels, one should find a unified view of all the events as a, I don't know if it is a task, so that that will be easy. So everyone knows what is happening the next 1 month at district, division, area, club. Uh, I think this is should be possible because this is very much this would be helpful in that way.
It's possible, Ashwin. It's
That's
possible.
right. Yes.
We can
And
create
in
one
fact, all
common calendar, and that calendar access can be given to all the users. So every user should be able to see what are the
But currently,
deadlines.
currently that calendar is going to get published on the D120 website. It's going to have all the events for one complete year.
the events that we see here is going to be talking about all the district events that we want to
Yes.
have it hosted.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for something at the division level, that division B conference and all of this that you would have nailed on already as part of your district officers training program, even that would come up here. Only the area contest is something that you will identify slightly later that can be recorded in the calendar of the respective areas as well. And that will still be visible from that same platform.
Yes, because if everyone has to start using it, if everything is put into that calendar itself, it will be
Got your
very
point.
easy.
Yeah.
Yep, point taken. Yeah.
So the thing is, since that will not be accessible to all the members, we may need to duplicate one on the website and one over here. So hopefully all the district officers will come and refer to this one. For the members, of course, they can see the one on the website.
Yeah, at least the club president will get the
Yeah, sure,
hold of
sure thing.
what is happening across, right, in all the
Will
levels.
do. Right.
Yep.
Because here we can even have the club officers list upload deadline. There we don't have to share it with the public, right? I mean, public as in all our members. Members need not know when they have to submit an election officers upload. That information need not be shared with the members. This calendar
So
we can have the deadlines covered. Yeah.
So what we can also do here is, if you see this projects here, where you see your respective area or your club, you have also have option called District 120, which is a public page. Without even having a login, you can come here and see what's recorded here. So on this particular page, your calendar can be visible and it can show what options do you want to record it here, and that can still be visible to your members without even having a login. Okay.
So now click on the calendar once. Okay. What add filter? Can you click on the add filter? Okay. So do we have the project also as a filter? I'm just trying to think.
So this is mostly, these filters are applied from a task perspective. If you've got a specific task that you would want to filter or search basis the priority or whatever it is, then that comes up here.
Okay, fine. This is,
So from this common calendar of District 120, we can record anything that you would want to centrally have, and that can be taken forward as well.
so we
Okay.
can have all the deadlines recorded here.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at as an area director, I need to, even the club presidents should put all the meetings, weekly meetings as one event here.
Okay.
So
That they
what
can
I'm
do it in
looking
their
at is,
calendar.
it
See,
should
if
be
you,
unified one. Everything, right from GG deadline submission, whatever it is, district event, division event, OTP, the next meeting at my area's club, so that I know how to plan my area event that doesn't coincide with anything else. Joint meetings. So everything, if it is there, right, as a president, my life will be very easy. As an area director, also.
Right.
But if
Ashwin, answering to your question, deadlines, yes, we can put OTP dates, we can put, but I'm not very sure about the recurring meeting. I don't think so that is possible here because this is about tracking the task. If in case your club president is inviting you to a club meeting, probably they can send an invite through this and add a date to the calendar. So that way you know which day you're visiting a club, which day you have to be there, that you can track from your personal calendar. So that is possible, but I'm not sure that we can have the recurring calendar. That is not here because this doesn't serve that purpose of having the recurring
what
calendar.
what happens here is, when we are looking at it from a club perspective, there are a total of how many clubs that we have here is close to 160 or there, 164. So if you are seeing every month 164 records, your calendar will be so complex that you will not be able to figure out what you're trying to identify. So it could make it a little more complicated as well. So if we are having very key events that we would want everyone to get visible about, then it makes it
no,
more easier.
yeah, I understand. No, from I mean, there should be a visibility as you're saying, right? Low, medium, high. So as an area perspective, I can see meeting level details, but at a district level, it may not be required. So
That's right. So at the club level, they can do whatever they want to add. They can definitely add. Like what I've shown at the club level as well. The calendar is going to be still available, and they can choose to update whatever they want to record. And like what you want to have a calendar of events and say this is a joint meeting, this is a visiting toastmaster, this is a team meeting, or whatever is that they would want to record. They can always do that at their respective club level calendars.
yeah, yeah. My only
It is
thing
not
is,
finished off.
we should not be looking at multiple things if this is coming, if this tool is there. So
Yeah,
Understood.
this should be a
Understood.
one-stop shop. That's the whole
yes,
idea.
yes,
Correct.
yes.
Now I'm going into area B1 and emerging leaders, and I'm going into the calendar of that particular club to know what is it that I've got. And this will give you all the club level actions that are happening in that calendar.
So I think this is Nelson here. This will be like Club Central, and next one will be the next level and all those things. So
Correct.
maybe for the club level, it can be limited here, and area and division can be in the common calendar.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
Right, right. Only point to be noted here is calendar is not a separate tool here. What calendar does here is only helps you to track your task. So which
Yes.
means you cannot go and add an event to the calendar. A task to be created with a deadline or a timeline that will appear here. It is not the other way around. So that's only one note I would like to make. So you
And the
can't go and
TLI
add events to the
calendar,
calendar.
TLI calendar with all the dates for all the division conferences, OTPs, JTPs, emergence, everything will be there on the D120 website. In
Right.
fact, you will see that getting populated in the next couple of days. That dates right up to June 2021.
Okay.
Right. Good enough. So any further questions on this one? So as an area director, I can hop between each of these areas As a division director, I'll have a big view of all of the clubs in my division, and that is how it will move. So show you the division director's view as well, just to quickly run you through with it. So at my division director's login, if you observe, this is the whole list of all the areas and all the clubs, whichever be the ones that I would want to have a look at. I can get into the respective clubs and look at it. Or if I want all the tasks at my division level to be visible, I can just click on view all tasks and it will give me a holistic picture of all the tasks that are open, closed at all levels and across my division. And I can filter out as appropriate to see what is required as well.
Download a PDF, Srinath. I think it's PDF or CSV. So you can use this during your division council just to go through the task that has been completed by the division. So definitely there'll be some naming convention. There'll be different names because this tool is not made for Toastmasters, so we can't expect that perfection. But definitely it will help us to address or oversee a lot of the tasks that we carry on day in day out in Toastmasters.
So over here as a division director, if you would like to have a new sub project that to be created, then you can do that as well by using these options that we have. So
Right.
create a new
And
sub project.
Srinath, who can create new projects? Division director and area directors?
Within the respective pages, they can create sub projects. For example, at the division level, if we
Okay.
want to have another area or a club to be created, then the respective division director can do. If not, if the respective area director wants to add another new club into their area which is getting charted, even that can be self-service managed through this particular
Or
option.
you want to create a project for conference management. Let's say you want to host a division contest, and in division contest, there'll be registration work, there'll be sponsorship work. Even you can create one and
Yeah.
try tracking all your activities there. So you can have your calendar for just for the conference management, and you can manage your conference well.
So what we have been doing over Excel sheets, that definitely can be done from here in terms of getting a one single view, and people will also have a good view to it. Now I've just clicked on new project here, and let's say I want to talk about the division conference.
Now, for that, we need to add the members also, Noshina. That is not being planned.
I was about to ask because as part of the conference we'll form all these committees, right? R&R committee, program committee. So if I want to assign the task, all should be there, so that you have one unified view, right? The Gantt chart will also help.
Correct. No, we have that in mind, but we thought first we'll try with the existing ongoing task. If this is successful, then the next point can be adding, giving more access so that we can add more members. Right. So.
Yeah, definitely. It can be
Yeah.
incremental deliverable. Yeah.
Definitely, one at a time. So we are definitely going to see how this collaboration tool will shape up and help us to work more efficient in an efficient manner.
Right. So what further questions do we have? So as
Not a
area
question.
directors,
Not a question, Srinath, but definitely a good initiative. I think we should start adopting, and only through adoption we will also contribute for the betterment of the platform. I think having one unified communication collaboration platform for the district is definitely good. Good initiative. I think we should start adopting it.
Sure. Thanks, Nelson. Any further questions from anybody else, from area directors, division directors, anybody from the extended team who have got questions?
In fact, Nelson, the whole idea is to have track of the communications. Many mails comes to DCP team year after year. What happens is sometimes the mails get unanswered, not because they don't want to answer, but because they get to miss the email communications. Because you by mistake you read an email, you think that it's answered, right? So here you get to track the communication. That's the difference between email communication and a collaboration tool. Every communication gets tracked so that we know whether it's closed or it's open. So that helps us to respond to a member's need in a prompt way.
Yeah, perfectly, Praveen. I was to touch that topic, but that is very sensitive, right? People don't
No,
read
that's
email
why I took
or forward.
a PQD
Yeah.
department, which I managed last year. So, and Gayatri is also there. I'm not
It is
talking
very
about.
tough.
So, yeah, and
And
right,
It
what
is
also
very tough.
gives,
I know.
what also happens here is when we have a look at this from a division director's view or a district view of all these questions that are coming up where people are seeking for support, then that will also help us to assess where there are
assess.
still questions coming up which we need proactive education to people, or address challenges that people are coming up, or train them on those skills which could help address these questions and reduce the number of questions from on this particular platform as well. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, this will also help us to analyze those needs of people and try and see how it can be proactively addressed from the district perspective rather than waiting for the members to cry and then we sort it out.
Right,
That's the other idea as well at the end of the quarter,
and
every
as a
quarter.
district, we know where we stand as a whole. I mean, in the end of the year, we know by looking at the task and request that has come to us, we know what is our strength, which are the areas that we need to focus. So next year, the vision and mission can always be modified accordingly.
Yep. Any further questions? I understand we're already 20 minutes into delayed from the schedule.
Okay.
So when are we launching?
Good question. So we are in the full swing of setting this up. Once after this is set up and we have tested this, possibly in a week or two, we should be able to get this launched in a full-fledged manner.
Okay, should be by a week, not more than that, because Srinath, they are taking this to the club offices during OTP. So
That's
the
right.
first club OTP is on the next weekend. So before that, all of you will have the access to go through on your own. Any questions, you can reach out to Srinath and team, and then you can introduce this tool during your offices training program. So that's the idea.
Now this is getting a view at the level of a district. So if I'm looking at it from a district perspective, then this is the view that you get. Has everything that's required from all the divisions, and at any level, if we want to assign any question or if we would want to take any questions from anyone, then that can also be done.
So, Srinath, maybe a small suggestion. It's too much to ask now. Maybe on a later time we can look at it. Some short video tutorials which can be part of this help file, whatever that we are having. If we can create, may not be immediate, but uh, maybe like 2 months, 3 months down the line, so that
No. It's not too much to ask. Srinath, we can plan for one, Srinath. No, this is very good, I mean, point, because every now and then some doubts might come. So probably we have the relevant videos with the relevant tasks, then I think it becomes very self-monitored way, like how Pathways is working, right? You go log into the Basecamp, there are many tutorials for you to watch and learn how to do it. So it makes sense. In fact, earlier it is better so that people won't come to us with more queries on accessing the system or using. Today we have only 35 participants, which means some of the area directors did not join today's call. So probably if a video is there, it might be helpful for them to understand.
Yeah, a recorded version like this could also help. At the
No,
same time, we
it's
also
recorded.
have
This
some.
this video is recorded, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have some Redmine related support material also that's available, which will help people to navigate. Just that it might not necessarily have all the terminologies that we see here, but yeah, that can at least help us to understand what each of these features are and how can they raise a new task, or how can they look at the calendar or make use of the Gantt chart or whatever is it. They've got materials for that, so that should not be an issue. Right. Any further questions?
Srinath, the task that we mark as private, like
That will not be visible here.
okay, so those will be only visible to the person who creates and assigns it, right? Not to
And
anyone
yeah,
else.
correct. That's right.
Right.
Okay.
Praveen, what are we naming this tool as? Do we have any particular name?
Well, it is right now named as ecosystem. Ecosystem, I know it's a very generic word.
Probably before the launch, we can have a competition across the district to have a
Right.
name, and so that people will be at least will look into.
Oh, the way of promoting the tool also. Okay.
Yeah, promoting everything needs a promotion, right? Kind
Yeah,
of.
Praveen, you should name something like Alexa.
Alexa.
Oh, just because Alex asked this question, your name is Alexa, huh? Huh? What?
Something like.
Is it by any chance Ashwin?
Sorry?
No, who said Alexa?
That was I didn't know.
That was Arun.
It was Arun.
Arun. Alexa.
Ashwin does not do it in the call. He does it in the WhatsApp group.
Sorry, I spilled the bean. Okay, thank you so much.
Right, good enough. Any
This
other
is a good
question?
one. Good one. Right. See, as a district, as an individual, I use a lot of tools. One is this for my work. Second one is I use another tool called Trello that helps me to manage my personal tasks, because on daily basis we are all part of corporate life, personal life, and Toastmasters. As much as we keep our work organized, it helps us to manage all in a much balanced way. Most of the time, we come across issues where after 6 months down the line, one of the area directors comes and says, "How do you manage your time?" Because it's very difficult for us to make a club visit, manage all the contests and all that. So better to keep ourselves very organized. So this tool is in the initiative is more towards that, to help all of us being more organized, so that we can achieve more tasks in a much efficient manner.
Yeah.
So try out.
And
There are many tools. There are many tools. Like Trello is one tool which is one of my favorite. I mean, it's called Kanban board, where you can drag the task to one to the other. So the moment a task is over, I move to another place and I know, okay, my task is over. So that helps for managing the task. This is a very right platform, collaboration tool. So come up with more such initiatives, idea. Use some tools for your project, conference management. That way your members also know, okay, I can learn something in Toastmasters. I can take all these things back to my workplace. So that's where they will be more passionate to work and spend time in Toastmasters.
in fact, Trello, while this is being used in the corporate levels as well, you can use it for your own day-to-day work-life management. Any task that you've got which you wanted to do. Nowadays, we use notice boards or sticky notes and all of
Right,
this.
right.
This could also be helpful in terms of tracking it on your phone and it's synced across for
Exactly.
you to manage it effectively as well.
Now, there's always one Trello window which will be open in my system. I'll always look into my task and say, okay, have this meeting, because I know you'll be having client calls, office meetings, and Toastmasters meeting. For us to manage everything, even diary doesn't help me these days. So it's all the technology which comes into picture and helps us to keep ourselves organized. So use as many tools as possible, so that our life becomes easier.
Srinath, this is Prince. It's not a
Yes, sir.
suggestion, like an appreciation, because when I was working with KCG, the students club, all these techie guys used to come and tell, like, why don't we create this? Why don't we create that? See, we tell like we have to follow Toastmasters guidelines. To be honest and frank, we didn't have one. So this is a very good initiative, and kudos to you for all the work that you have done. And as Praveen told, being a new district, nobody will believe that this much organized things are happening. And I'm very happy. And at least to my KCG Youth Master Students Club, I would tell that there's another tool which has come, so you can use that. And thanks, Srinath, for that.
You're welcome, and all credits to Praveen and my team as well, who was getting this set up for enough. So once after this is fully set up, then you will be even more happier in terms of seeing this in a full-fledged manner. All that we have seen last time and this time is only a half-baked thing for you to give a view or just of what this is all about. Since we didn't want to delay this knowledge sharing a little bit later. So I hope you would digest this in a couple of days as you start using it. And once after it's full-fledgedly populated, then it's going to be as easier as possible. And just an additional thing that we would want to do here is we would want to also create a repository of information which could be your one-stop shop for all your needs, anything to do with your election management, contest management, and all of this. While bits and pieces of this information is here and there in different parts and different clubs and different drives and all of this, we would want to create a confluence of this information where anything and everything that you would need under Toastmasters, any best practices that the clubs have got, areas have got, under any of those remits that we have called out, be it with PR, membership, and all of these actions that we have got, we would want to create one single confluence, which is a contribution from all of the clubs, areas, and divisions involved. So we would seek your support for that as well. I will shortly be coming up with a plan to see how we can bring that together in one roof and help make this to be a much more better platform for all of us to use it. Yeah. So I will reach out to you on that once after this is set up. So let's take it one by one, and I will seek all your support for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Any words from Satish? In fact, because the word ecosystem was coined by Satish. In fact, during one of our meetings when we are discussing on DOTP agenda, he was the one who said, let's have an ecosystem for our district. And in fact, the word ecosystem was coined by him. Satish and Partha, your thoughts, and we can close the meeting there.
I'm pretty much good. I think everyone has already got too much of an information overdose over the past 1.5 hours.
Right.
I think the next thing is to just start using it, because only when we start using, we'll know what are the benefits it has and what is that we need to improvise as we go along.
Right.
So the sooner we start using it, the better. And it's good that at least all the information is there in one place. And more than that, information, I would say it helps in a seamless transition, because all of us are in these roles which are not more than 1 year old. So next year when somebody else takes over, this kind of tools will help people not to start from scratch. So they can just pick up where the earlier people left off and hit the ground running. I think all tools are meant to kind of do it, create more of a knowledge base and an information repository, so that it becomes easier for people down the line to kind of use that information and use that data in a much more effective manner. That's
Sure.
all from my side.
Okay,
Thank you,
great.
thank you, Satish.
Naveen, yeah. So I think this is. I also want to mention pretty much very similar. Maybe today, no, we might not be able to do everything with the tool, but we are trying to do whatever is possible. Apart from using the tool, we might require situations where we have to actually follow up over email or phone or the regular means that we do. But once this is becoming a practice, it might be people would see the advantage in it, and I think it's a phased manner in which we want to get along. And as Satish mentioned, it is going to be something for the future. So probably a few years down the line, I think a lot of people will be finding it so useful that it might be without this, it might be a challenge to work later on. So let's hope for the best. But as usual, it's a tool, and many of us would be from software background, so you would know that it has to be supported. We need people to tell us how to improve it and so on. So that's what's going
Exactly.
to build the tool into a better one.
Exactly. So once after this is rolled out, my only request is for you all, the area directors and division directors, try creating some of those requests, play around with it, and let us know if you've got any questions, challenges, any gaps that you see. Even we are trying this new for the first time, so we are willing to try and correct and improvise from where we are starting off with. So we will need all your support to use it, and also to let us know where there are gaps, and we would definitely want to help you fix it, so that we take it as a much more robust system that everyone can use it as well. Yeah. Right, that's it from my side. Over to you, Praveen. Anything else you want to add? And otherwise, we are good to
No, no,
close.
we are good. We are good. Thank you, Srinath. You can adjourn. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much, everyone. We are now adjourned. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Stay
night.
safe. Bye.
Oh, stay safe is something these days we need to add. Okay, stay safe. That's become common.
Praveen, if you want to stay back, I just have a couple of things that I want to discuss
Oh,
for 2 more
okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Arun, you can also stay, Arun.
Srinath, Alex here.
Yes, Alex.
Probably one feedback area would be an idea, right? Because we never know what kind of brainwaves work in the district. Somebody using it regularly probably will definitely share an idea that is for you and your team, right? Hello.
Yeah, we are able to hear you. Sorry, you're asking us to add an option for feedback, is it?
Correct, because we never know, the club officers when they update and what all ideas they get. I'm not saying that it should be implemented immediately, but there could be some surely some brainwaves.
Yeah, there is a group that has been created for the ecosystem as well. So anything that you've got for the ecosystem as well, you can share your thoughts there.
That's
Or
it.
we might want to see if we can explore the option of the
Mention
forums.
that in the the page, the email ID, so that people can email any queries or feedback.
Queries, suggestions, improvements, and all, right? I'm sure by
Right.
the time we use it, there will be a lot of good changes.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Srinath. I'm
Thank
sure
you, Alex. Thank
will
you.
make our life much
In
easier.
fact, Srinath, we can have one item in ecosystem itself to where they can give the changes, or when they can give suggestions.
Yeah, sure. Partha will make note of that.
Thanks, Srinath, once again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Go ahead, Srinath. What is it? Yeah.
Okay, I think we have a few more people as well. Is
Yeah,
it okay?
That's totally fine. No,
Okay,
no.
right.
Oh, you had something to discuss?
No, yeah, he want to discuss, Srinath.
I want to
Okay.
just share off because we wanted to create the platform once for. I mean, once we're setting it up, I want to ensure we are doing it the right way and then take it forward. Give me a second.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Just wanted to take a 4 check before we go ahead with it. Yes, Praveen. So this is what we will have in terms of the setup. Okay.
Okay.
From the divisions, which includes AD and DD, for each of the divisions, we have these IDs that will be created. And from a district extended team perspective, I'll come to that. Give me a minute. So from a club's perspective, within each of these areas, these are all the clubs that's as per the new alignment, and the respective presidents as the ones that we are creating the IDs with.
Right.
And for those clubs which is not paid or not active at this particular point in time, but they are not closed as well. So those ones we are marking it as inactive club, but we are not creating an ID for now on this.
You
Okay,
can. I
but
mean, reach out to the president, and you should be able to create one.
we are not able to reach now. These clubs are inactive. They have not
If
paid
you are
yet.
not able to reach, that's a different story. If you are able to reach, at least even the past president can give an access so that the club coaches also will be working with him. So anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this time,
Srinath and Praveen, I have one concern here. Like email ID that we give out here is president's email ID, and there is a problem that we have a lot of promotion emails coming in this mail and that mail. So there is a possibility that we could definitely miss out the email from say this tool. So one thing is to definitely have the decouple done, and if you say, if we emphasize saying that Chennai wordsmiths should have their own email ID and we put it here, then the president can use that email ID, and definitely there would be not much of filtration that is needed. And moreover, when people evolve and like when things change in the next 6 months, you don't really have to change all these things as well.
That's a good suggestion. So we can initially to start with, let's start with the president's ID. In the next 6 months, that is changed to that, because otherwise, if you ask them to create one, it will take